Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast with Kevin Harrington and Seth Greene. Kevin Harrington is the inventor of the infomercial, one of the original sharks from the hit TV show Shark Tank, and has generated over $5 billion in TV and digital direct response sales. Seth Greene is the world's first trusted authority on cutting-edge direct response marketing, a best-selling author, and the only 3-time Marketer of the Year nominee. On the podcast, Kevin and Seth interview Sharkpreneurs who share straight talk on what it takes to explode your business.
Why do so many businesses struggle while others seem to explode overnight? Do you wish you had the secret to this type of exponential growth? Now, I've scaled more than 20 businesses to over $100 million, and it's not just luck. In my new book with Mark Tim, Mentor to Millions, you'll learn the repeatable framework I use in all my business ventures for massive success. Order at kevinmentor.com and get over $1,000 in bonuses. Head to kevinmentor.com.
Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast. This is your co-host, Seth Greene. Today I have the good fortune to be joined by Michael Cardwell, the founder and creative director of digitalbrew.com. Michael, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
What inspired you to start Digital Brew?
Well, from a young age, I was making videos for fun with my buddies, and decided, hey, like, what better career to choose than make my hobby my job? So I went down the path of becoming a filmmaker, and after graduating, college for film, I started doing animation and motion graphics, and realized I really fell in love with that. And in 2011, I started my own company, Digital Brew, and with the goal of helping our clients be successful through effective video marketing. We started off mostly doing live action videos, and after a few years of business, we did a couple explainer videos, realized, hey, we're pretty good at this. And now probably about 80-90% of our business is doing animated explainer videos for all types of companies all over the world, and I really love what I do and helping people be successful. That's our main goal with all the content we create.
That is awesome. I'm sure there's a much longer version of that story that could probably go in a book somewhere if it isn't already.
Yeah.
So let's unpack it just a little bit for our folks who maybe they've been living under a rock. Who knows? Maybe they haven't. What is an animated explainer video in your definition?
So explainer video is just, I don't know where that term came from, but it just means animated marketing video. It doesn't necessarily have to explain like how to make coffee or some process or something like that. But it's just an animated marketing video, and all of the content that we create follows a basic formula of what is the problem in the industry? How does this company solve that problem? And how's your life going to be so much better after engaging with them or using their product or service? And so, we wrap that into an animated storytelling format, and that's what the animated explainer is.
Awesome. I would agree with that definition. We use the same one when we hire people to deliver them for our clients. So let's talk about why. Obvious to you and me, but for folks who don't do this for a living, why do businesses, why do marketers, why do they need an animated explainer video? Animated
explainer videos work particularly well for like companies that are in the software and tech space, because a lot of times explaining what they do or in that problem solution story, it makes sense to put that into an animated format, especially if it's something really complicated. You wouldn't want to just show a bunch of people on computers for some software company. If you have some cool motion graphics that explains, what it does in an engaging way, that's what those are a good place for. Another good use for animated explainer videos is, when live action stuff is not in the budget. So with the nice thing about those is you need actors. Guess what? You can just draw them. You got 5 of them. You can draw them all. You don't need to. No casting, no locations, no logistics. You can just
no union wages.
Yeah, no, none of that. Yeah, you can just draw as many. You want to put a lion on the moon? No problem. So so from a budgetary perspective, sometimes makes a lot more sense to do those as well.
That is awesome. Now, That's why they should have one. I know you've had some incredibly successful ones. Can you give some examples of kind of what the end result is that the company gets? And we'll insert the standard legal disclaimers: past performance, no guarantee of future success, and we're not making any income claims. But how do these help transform businesses? How do they help them grow?
Sure, good question. So, you know, having any type, well, first of all, the video, you need to have a marketing mix, right? You can't just have just the video or just your website or just these other things. Like, you should have a mix of things that are going to help reach all different types of people. Some people prefer, they prefer to read the white paper. Some people prefer to read the video. So you should definitely have a mix of things. And also keeping in mind that whenever you're creating the video, like, the video should be a conversation starter. It should not replace the conversation. So a lot of people think, like, especially business owners and myself included, like, we do all this cool stuff. We want to have everything in the video. But the reality is, if it's too long, no one's going to watch all that stuff. So you got to get just the most important things, the highest value propositions and problem solutions in there, get them excited about it. And then with the goal of getting them to pick up the phone and call you or opt in or something like that. And so just in general, like, the results vary quite a bit depending on how much effort you put into it. You cannot just put it on YouTube and expect, okay, now I'm just going to kick back and collect income. It doesn't work like that. So it should be part of an integrated campaign. You need to put ad dollars behind it. I recommend that, whether that's, depends on where your audience is. Maybe that's through AdWords, Google ads, or, you know, driving them to a landing page where the video is, or maybe that's a social media campaign, those types of things. But, you know, it has to be, you need to get eyeballs on it. You can't just put it up there and expect something to happen. But when you do that, you know, like, you can expect at least like a 30% higher conversion rate with the video. So sometimes it can be a lot more than that too.
Awesome. So we're not trying to make a 30-minute, hour-long video that overcomes every objection that is our sales pitch. We're trying to do an animated explainer video. It's probably short, probably a couple minutes or less, for lead generation purposes, to get people to be intrigued enough to want to learn more and take whatever that next step is, whether it's an opt-in or a consult or a club, whatever it is, those examples that you were talking about. Did I get that right?
Yeah, exactly. Or a demo, maybe sign up for a demo. Yeah, whatever that longer conversation is, where you can explain all the cool stuff that your product or service does.
Awesome. Now, what are some of the biggest mistakes business owners make when trying to do something like this themselves, other than doing it themselves, obviously?
Yeah, well, that's not good use of your time, I think, is what you're saying, right? So
I am saying let's assume that mistake, doing it yourself, is obvious. Okay. And talk about the other most common mistakes they make when making one of these, or when trying to generate leads online.
Yeah, well, from a explainer video standpoint, I think the biggest one is just like trying to whittle it down into something that's bite-sized, like I just talked about. Like, keep it at 1 to 2 minutes. 2 minutes is almost borderline a little bit too long, and just get the person excited enough to want to learn more and leave them wanting more. And then other mistakes, I think sometimes, like, you know, have a little faith in your agency. Like, they do this stuff all the time. Like, you know, they're experts at what they do. So, you know, like, have a little trust in them. Not that, you know, from speaking personally, like, I definitely need the input from our clients about what it is that their stuff does, and their audience and all that stuff. And I value their opinions greatly, but, you know, also, like, it's a collaborative effort. So, you know, if it's a design thing, like, and you're not a designer, like, trust the design guys that they did a good job for you.
That makes a lot of sense. What are some of the elements that you found? Because, I mean, you've made a ton of these. What are some of the elements that make a successful one, that make the ones that work?
Yep. So, well, I would say one of the main things is, like I said earlier, like, you have to drive traffic to the thing. Like, you cannot just put it up and expect to get results. But having your video wrapped into a story, trying to create an emotional connection, and that doesn't mean that they have to laugh out loud or be crying at the end of your video. But if you explain a pain point to someone and they have that pain point, And that's going to drum up those feelings inherently that they have about all the times that they've tried this thing and failed or whatever it is. Like that's an emotion, right? An indirect emotion that you can get through the story. And so trying to, connect with the viewer on an emotional level, and at the end, making them feel like, wow, this is going to be so awesome. If I have this thing, like going to make my life, my business, whatever it is, so much easier, so much better. Getting those emotions in there important. Story and emotion are really the two most important things. And then you also want to have something that is really well designed and animated, because there's a lot of really inexpensive companies out there, but their stuff is just, from a marketing perspective, it doesn't tell the right story. And from a design perspective, it's kind of, not so great. So you don't, it's better to spend a little bit more money and get a good one than, go like spend $1,000 and get just like a junky one that you may not even like at the end. And these things, another nice thing about animated videos, that they have a very long shelf life. The one that we made for ourselves, we've been using on our landing page. It generates leads every month, and we made it 6 years ago and have not touched it since. So yeah.
Wow. So you're
yes.
talking about something that could really be an evergreen marketing asset, like an oil well that once it's up and it starts working, it just keeps pumping.
That's right. Yeah. If you get a good one, yeah, they can spend a little bit more money. You think about that over 5 years, like, what's that, a few $100 a month for a $10,000, $20,000 video. I mean, I think that's a good investment.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely have the ROI. Talk a little bit, because it started out as you, and you've now grown one heck of a team. Talk a little bit about the team.
Yeah, so we have 10 production people here on staff that do our design and animation. 4 of the people that work here have been here since the beginning. One guy, I've had the company for 9 years. The one guy just celebrated his 9-year anniversary. The very first guy I hired still works here. So I think that says a lot about our team and our culture here, is that we don't have a churn and burn mentality here. I'm very selective about the people that we get in here, because I want to make great content to, again, all coming back to helping our clients be successful in their marketing and business outcomes. And so we have a really, really powerful team of people that really understand design and animation, but also, more importantly, understand the storytelling part from a business perspective, to make sure that it's going to achieve that desired, outcome.
Absolutely. And I mean, the fact that you've got someone who's been there the entire time and never gone anywhere, obviously that speaks volumes to the culture that you've built. How do you manage? How do you lead? How do you make sure that your team members are doing what they're supposed to do for the right client at the right time in the right way?
Well, we listen to our clients and understand what they want. I think that's really important, and to make sure that everyone does that. And I have an open door policy. We do not have a top down leadership structure, business structure here. I treat everyone as an equal, including myself. They all have a voice in what they're doing. If I disagree with what they're designing, I'll bring a couple other people and say, hey, what do you guys think? And if they outvote me, okay, then, we'll go with that. So I think having that type of mentality as a leader at my company has really helped everyone feel valued. That's really important. I make sure that they all know that they're important, and that it's important to me that they feel good about working here. And because of that, we get much better results, and they're willing to do extra, like if we need it, because they'll know I'm willing to do extra for them if they.
That is awesome. We've covered a lot. What else do you want to share that I didn't think to ask you?
Just making a video, I know is a big investment for a lot of companies, and but I think it used to be that having a website was not negotiable. You needed that, and video was a nice to have. But now with all the devices and channels and all this stuff, and when people are getting media quicker and quicker, you kind of need to have a video. So if you're thinking about investing in one, I would definitely recommend doing it.
All right. Well, I greatly appreciate your time. This has been Seth Greene with Michael Cardwell for Digital Brew. Michael, for our listeners or viewers who want to learn more about what you're doing and how they can harness your expertise, where is the best place for them to go to learn more?
Sure. They can just go to digitalbrew.com, to our website, and there's a portfolio of work on there, more about what we do. there, and you can drop us a line right on there, and we can reach out and have a conversation.
Awesome. Thanks so much. This has been Seth Greene for Sharkpreneur, again with Michael Caldwell of Digital Brew. Thanks everybody for watching or listening. We'll talk to you or see you next time.
Do you need money to fund your idea, product, or service? Are you ready to take your business to the next level, but need capital to get it done? Kevin Harrington has heard more than 50,000 pitches and knows how to help you make the perfect pitch to get the funding for your entrepreneurial dream. He's distilled the process down in his perfect pitch cheat sheet, and it's yours for free. Just text PITCH to him right now at 727-888-2100. Text PITCH to 727-888-2100 right now and claim your free perfect pitch cheat sheet. Text PITCH to 727-888-2100 to start funding your dream today.
This show has been produced by Market Domination, LLC. To discover how you can have your own show completely done for you and turn it into a real published book and become the authority in your marketplace, go to www.marketdominationllc.com/podcast offer.